Hey everybody, welcome to our YouTube channel. You guys have been asking me for this for like the last 4 or 5 weeks, like nonstop. So I'm really excited to finally share my life, my journey, and everything with you guys. You guys get to know who I am, my husband Christian, who he is, what we do together, how we do life, just everything.
How you do what you do, what the behind the scenes of your life look like.
Being a mom, being a dad.
Yeah, because people only see like what you put on social media, but there's like so much more that you don't show on social media that a lot of people have been asking you about.
But there's also more things that other significant others can learn from being in his position, because we don't just suffer, they suffer too. We put them through the suffer. You girls know how it is.
Lots of sacrifice on both ends, definitely.
Yeah. So if you guys don't know, this is my husband, Christian Delgado. He's been with me every step of the way from the very beginning. And I mean every step of the way, as far as like, he's there at every check-in, when I go see Jamie, when I go stay at her house, whenever we go to the hotel room and check in, when I'm training, like every detail, everything, he is there, he's involved, and he knows.
Even before bodybuilding too, way before bodybuilding.
Well, yeah.
We've been together for about
7 years.
Going on 7 years now. It'll be 7 years
in May.
In May.
Yeah.
But we were together, let's say 4.5 years before bodybuilding even existed in your life, right?
Well, yeah.
So, I knew you when you were a completely different person, and I got to see the progression from
that's another video that we need to just kind of, so you guys can get to know my history, where I come from, how I got here. We weren't planning on recording a YouTube video for it because it was the first show of the season, and it was a bigger show, so I was very nervous going into it. Whenever I get very nervous for shows, especially the bigger ones, I'm always like, babe, don't record me, like just let me be in my zone.
Like, so don't talk to me, don't put the camera on me, and I'm just
but he helps a lot. So
why don't you tell him how the Clash was?
So to me, the Clash was like a super dope show. Like, I am going to do that show again, hands down, because I really, really noticed and loved how they treated and cared for the competitors. They, like Joe and the staff, went above and beyond. They care so much, and like they made us feel appreciated and important. And whenever you're traveling and spending a lot of money and putting all your time into a show, I think that is just so important to enjoy the show day, to have all that, have that support and all that, and feel appreciated, and it was so much fun. Like, it was so much fun. I loved the show. Yeah, it was a great show. So I definitely want to do a lot more. Probably I want to try to do more of the Klash Series.
And Miami was really awesome.
Yeah, we went to Miami on Sunday and Monday.
Well, we were in Orlando, but we went to Miami. But Orlando, Florida, Miami, I mean, we love Florida. It's really nice.
Florida's cool.
Yeah.
So let's jump into my prep for leading into the Clash. So about 2 months out, me and Jimmy were really excited because we had, gained a little bit more muscle from the Olympia. So feedback from the Olympia was more upper glute, and more shoulders, more upper body, a little bit just more rear delts and front a little bit. So me and Jamie wrote it all out, went through everything to a T, chatted, executed every detail, every day. I made those changes, I would say about 6 to 8 weeks. And that's why we gained, more mass at that time. I mean, not more mass, but we were heavier at that time. So at 2 months out, I was about 113. And we were on about 45 minutes cardio. Macros were still decent. And I was not dropping at all. But I was getting leaner to the visual eye. You can see that I was changing week to week. More separation, more lines showing, but my weight was not dropping. I was still training super hard and heavy though, and cardio, of course, inflammation. So whenever we were pushing about 1 month out, me and Jamie were like, should we do this show or should we push it? We weren't sure. So I didn't sign my contract until I was 2 weeks out because I finally dropped the 2 pounds from 113 to 111, and normally we like to be around 109, 108 carbing into 110 into the show. We're about 3 weeks out, I think, and I finally dropped that 2 pounds. So I was at 111, which was still high from going into show, but we were like, Jamie said, like, I think we could do it. We can make it work.
Yeah.
So we signed the contract at 2 weeks out. What was crazy was coming into peak week, I was so highly stressed because I wasn't dropping the weight at all. Like, I was still at 111 and then even up to 112. I landed in Florida on Wednesday, and I dropped 3 pounds.
Sorry. Where were you?
We have a 5-year-old, so so we got cut off really quick. Where was I? So I finally dropped the 3 pounds when I landed in Orlando on Wednesday. Thank goodness, thank freaking God. And then I was still pushing cardio Wednesday, and then Thursday we were not pushing back on cardio, but the intensity we did just for inflammation. But we got to carb up Thursday and Friday before show, which typically I like to carb up about 5 to 7 days before the show, or even 2 weeks, little by little, because that's where my body like thrives and is happy in a good state and everything. But that wasn't the case going into Clash, so I had a little bit more stress. I think I was holding more water. I wasn't as lean as we wanted to be, so that was that. Going into prejudging. Let's talk about that. Prejudging, I had left a meal at our Airbnb, not at the host hotel, because we didn't stay at the host hotel. They were sold out because, again, we didn't sign our contract until 2 weeks out, and they were already sold out for all the nights besides the show day night, and I wasn't just gonna get one night. So I forgot a meal, and going into prejudging, I realized it. I was really upset at myself, like, how can you let this happen? You're a pro, you know what you're doing, like, but I don't know. It happened. If you even look at my stage video from prejudging and finals, you can tell in my face, my confidence in my posing routine, that prejudging I was off, and then finals I was on, as far as like just my energy, my look, my smiling and everything, just because it's hard to fake when you know that you're not your best, you know? But I did my best.
Yeah, it's hard to be your best when you know you're missing something.
Yeah, yeah. So I pumped the freak out of my glutes as much as I could at prejudging. I did come in a lot of flat in prejudging, as to what Sandy said, but it makes sense because, you know, and those carbs were really important because I only got to carb up Thursday and Friday and then Saturday. So that's why those carbs were really important for me for my fullness, because I didn't get the chance to slowly carb into the show 5 to 7 days out. That happened, you know, after prejudging. I was freaking cussing myself out like nonstop on the way home. I was like, "Pa!" But after that, I was like, you know what, Aimee? It happened. This is why you're doing what you're doing. You're doing this because you want to learn, you want to grow, you want to experience, you want to make mistakes, you want to do all these things so that way you can create a system, and that system won't fail you if you have it set in place. So we're going to set alarms, have like just create systems, checklist systems in place to make sure that it's perfect every time. And that's just one of the reasons why I do want to compete more, because I'm not a brand new competitor, but compared to all the top 5 or top 10 Olympians, I am very, very new. So I have a lot of learning to do, a lot of growing, a lot of mistakes that are going to be made. And
it's important to make those mistakes early rather than having those mistakes happen like at humongous shows like the Olympia.
Yeah, and trust me, I had way bigger mistakes my amateur years, even my first pro shows. Oh my goodness.
Oh my god.
The natural pro show that I competed in, the Ben Weider's natural one, I almost missed prejudging.
She basically missed prejudging.
I did, but I didn't. I missed the comparison round.
If it wasn't for me just popping my head into the show saying, "Hey, I wonder what's going on in there right now. As I head up to the room, let me see what's going on in here real quick." And I peek my head in, and then I see pro bikini on the LED screen. I'm like, pro bikini, wait, what? But Aimee said she's not going to be on stage until later. And then I was like, let me ask somebody. And then I go and I ask somebody, and I'm like, hey, it says pro bikini. Do you know what division this is? And they were like, yeah, it's pro bikini. And I was like pro bikini? Because I'm still new to bodybuilding. This is one of your few pro shows. I mean, for all I know, there's multiple pro bikini divisions. And they were like, yeah, this is like the pro bikini girls. And I was like, oh shit. And then I call Aimee like crazy. Aimee, pro bikini's on stage right now. She's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, they're on stage right now.
And so I ran as fast as I can.
Yeah.
Because the elevators, bro.
Oh my God.
Elevators, guys, they were not working. It took you 25 minutes just to wait. Every time. Yeah. Every time. Because it was never. We're not going to get into it.
All week, the elevators
were horrible.
Took like 10 minutes just for you to actually see one open in front of you.
Yeah, and we were also on the 24th or third floor. And so I just ran those flights of stairs. I missed comparisons, but I was able to literally run on stage. No carving, no pumping, nothing, straight on stage. But I did make it for prejudging, but I'm pretty sure that did hurt me a lot when they called my name and I wasn't there. So yeah, I did make bigger mistakes, and I've learned from those mistakes, and we all do it, you know, and I'm going to make more. That's why I said, don't beat yourself up about it. Don't ruin prejudging. Don't ruin the whole day just because of one little mistake. But thank goodness, like, I'm so grateful, so blessed that by the time we left prejudging, I was able to get 2 full meals in me. And we filled out very, very nicely for finals. So when I got feedback from Sandy, she was like, you know, I love this sport because it's so freaking cool, because you guys can come out and looking one way, and then you guys come out for the night show and look totally different, and then it blows me away. So I was like, okay, that's really cool that she noticed that, you know. Yeah, so we got the feedback, and it was good feedback. We're gonna go into the next show with that feedback and with mine and Jamie's feedback, because we know how well we can peek into a show, and that wasn't our best. So we know that we can still do our best. So we are currently 7 days out from the Wasatch Warrior, which is why I've been doing more cardio, lower macros. Right now cardio is about 45 minutes. It was at an hour. Now it's at 45. I'm 7 days out. I already started carving up for the show starting today, which is Sunday. And I'm going to carve up little by little as we go into the show. And I'm really, really excited so I can show the judges my changes that I made since the Olympia, because I feel like I didn't display that at the Clash. I did display new changes, but not conditioning, separation, muscle development changes from the Clash. So
also, you want to go into there doing everything on point to a T, just for practice, just for yourself, just so that you know what it's like to hit your peak perfectly with everything you plan to do.
Yeah, and every time you go into an off season and into a prep, it's always going to be different. Someone messaged me on Instagram saying, hey, you already won the show and you already peaked, like, you know, not peaked, but she said you looked phenomenal, and like, you know, why are you doing another show? And I'm like, because I know I can be better. I know that I can bring in a better package, and it's all about making those mistakes, learning from them, and then coming back without those mistakes, and then trying to figure out what more I can do to be better.
Yeah, there's so many different things that, you know, you're going to be able to find out by doing Wasatch that you weren't able to see
from Clash.
From the Clash, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You guys are going to be seeing a lot of me. I'm competing more now only because I have more muscle. I couldn't compete this much as an amateur because I didn't have a lot of muscle to hold on to continue competing. So since I've built the density and the muscle that I currently have, I'm able to compete in a few more shows per year, as long as I'm making sure like everything is on point. You know, we talked a little bit in the beginning about like my history, my past. I feel like the last like 20 or 16 years, like I've been on rest, as far as like I haven't found myself. I don't know what my potential was. I didn't know what I'm good for. Like, why am I here on this earth? And I feel like I just found that 3 years ago or 2.5 years ago. So I'm ready to just take it and shoot off to the fucking moon with it. Like every show when I step on stage to be better, but to get the feedback from the judges to be like, what more do you want? And then once I get that feedback, I'm not going to keep competing just to compete and do shows. No, I'm going to hop my little butt straight into a off season, but only a 5 to 6 week off season, because how hard I work, how disciplined I am, and how bad I want this, I work. So, and when I do work, I get results. I do. So, once I compete, get that feedback, I'll hop into 5, 6 week off season. If I need more time, I will take more time, 8 weeks, 9 weeks, whatever it takes. And then I will come straight back to the stage and do it all over again. And it's literally, I feel like the reason why I'm at this position is my decision making, but also from me not stopping, like literally not stopping. I'm on stage, and the moment I'm off stage, I'm working on the feedback to get back on stage. This year, I want to be good enough to make top 3 at the Olympia. And that's my personal goal. That's what I want for myself. And I know I can do it. Anybody can do it. You can do it. He can make top 3 at the Olympia if he wants to. Yeah, if he wants to, you can. You just got to work for it. I'm not saying it's going to be tomorrow or like next year or whatever, but anyone can do it. Nothing's impossible. So by, anyone saying I can do top 3 at the Olympia, okay, if you believe it, and do it.
You're on the road, you're on track, you have your goal. Your goal was to place what at Olympia this?
My goal wasn't even to place. My goal was to just have fun. Mm-hmm. Because going into Olympia, remember I had a panic attack. I had a really, really bad panic attack where I was crying and I couldn't breathe because I was putting so much pressure on myself going into Olympia. And this was I think it was 4 weeks out. And I had a long chat with Jamie, and I was like, why am I stressed? Why? No one is expecting me to win the freaking show. No one's expecting me to even place the first Olympia. No one expects you to get top 10, So I really had a long conversation with them 3, Jamie, me, and Christian, and Greg. And we all decided there's no point in stressing, because whatever's going to happen, it's going to happen. If I, next year I have something to stress about. This year I have something to stress about because I did place 6, so I want to do better than 6. So that's a lot of pressure right there. But last year there shouldn't have been any pressure. So I literally took everything off the table, and that happened about 3 weeks out. And I said, who cares that it's the Olympia? Let's just have fun and let's enjoy. And I swear.
And do your best.
Yeah, and do my best. And I did my best. And whenever we were at the Olympia, I truly felt like I was not competing, because I got so stuck in the events, the people, the friends, everything, the photos. It was so much fun. And I think that's why I placed 6th. Also, because I was not so in my head like I was for the other shows, and
you weren't overthinking.
Yeah, I wasn't overthinking, because who knows if I would have continued on with that high stress into the Olympia.
Yeah,
could have been a different story. So now, this is also why I want to compete in bigger shows this year as well, so that I can get that experience of feeling being under pressure and wanting to do well.
And get those notches in your belt.
Yeah, that's our game plan. After Wasatch, we were planning on Girl Power. We're also planning on Pittsburgh and New York. We'll let you guys know whenever we get there. But we're gonna start doing more vlogs, more talking about prep and all that stuff. We'll do a new video for the Wasatch in a couple of days. Okay.
Yeah, and put in the comments what kind of footage or what kind of content you want to see from her. If you guys want to see training stuff, if you guys want to see behind the scenes prep stuff, prep files.
Comment, let me know.
Meals,
but
meal
mostly
planning.
Comment because I'll be able to view it and everything.
We'll just look at the bottom of the video and see what you guys want to see, and we'll both put in the work to make that happen, to do the recording. She won't be able to battle me, to say if I want to record her, meal prepping or whatever it is. I'll be like, hey, your people wanted to see it, so.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get mad that I have a camera in your face.
Yeah. So many people are bugging me because they're like, you have to show who you are to the world. You have to show what you're about. Like, and yeah, I get it all the time from people. Well, this was so much fun. Comment below what you guys want to see, and then we'll talk to you guys next time.